There comes a moment when silence becomes the loudest roar, when your calm presence rattles the very ground that tried to shake you. In a world addicted to reactions, restraint becomes your hidden superpower. Not everything deserves your attention, especially not pain. Let's explore why your silence in the face of hurt is your greatest strength. When someone hurts you, your instinct is to strike back, maybe with anger, maybe with tears, maybe with words that cut as sharply as theirs. That urge is human. It's natural to want to defend yourself, to prove you won't be walked over. But in that moment of reaction, you hand over something more precious than your pride. You surrender your inner strength. Mastery over your emotions isn't about putting on a brave face. It's about navigating the storm within. It's the ability to remain rooted even when someone else tries to uproot you. Because the second you let someone provoke you into reacting, you give them control. You've entered their emotional battlefield. And that's not power, that's submission. Strength is found in restraint, in the ability to feel everything, pain, betrayal, rage, and still choose not to act from those emotions. It's the deep knowing that your peace is more valuable than proving a point. Holding back isn't denial, it's command. It's declaring, I own my emotions, I choose my response, they don't. That is sovereignty. Anyone can explode, anyone can shout, but those ruled by emotion are often the weakest. Because emotions, no matter how powerful, are fleeting. The damage they cause, however, can be lasting. Words spoken in haste, actions taken in fury, they can scar. And often after the storm, what remains is regret. How many times have people said, I didn't mean it, I was just angry, yet the words still cut, the actions still wound, and apologies, while important, can never fully erase the mark left behind. But when you pause, when you choose stillness, when you let the emotional wave pass without letting it drown you, you awaken a new version of yourself. Emotional mastery doesn't come from coldness. It comes from wisdom, from having suffered enough to understand that reactions rarely heal. They often deepen the wound. So instead, you breathe, you watch, you process. And if you respond, it comes from peace, not pain. Think of it this way. Storms may rage, but the mountain does not move. It stands tall, weathering the winds and rains, because its strength is not in the noise, but in its roots. You are that mountain when you hold your ground in stillness. Emotional control isn't about pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about refusing to be owned by it. No one, regardless of how deep their blow, gets to control how you move forward. If you can feel everything and still remain grounded, you've accessed a level of power few ever reach. That's not just inner strength, it's self-respect. There are people who don't just want to hurt you, they want to see that they've hurt you. Causing pain isn't their end goal, it's witnessing your collapse. They look for the flinch, the tear, the energy shift. Your reaction is their trophy, because the louder your response, the more power they steal. Many who hurt you don't do it out of hatred, but from a hunger to feel in control. They poke, they push, they provoke, and then they wait. If you lash out, if you crumble, they win. Not because they're right, but because they've succeeded in pulling you into their chaos. Your reaction becomes their satisfaction. But when you don't react, when you remain centered and still, something changes. Their game loses its player. They expect fire, but you offer stillness. They prepare for chaos, but you remain calm. That unbothered silence speaks louder than any scream ever could. Choosing not to react doesn't mean the hurt didn't land. It means you won't allow it to define you. You understand that those who lash out are often battling their own storms, their anger, their words, their cutting actions. They usually say more about what's going on inside of them than about you. Their need for control is fed by your emotional outburst. When you lash out, you give them fuel. But withholding that reaction breaks the pattern. You no longer participate. And eventually, they realize they never had control over you at all. It takes strength to stay quiet when you hurt. It takes even more to not explain, not defend, not try to win the argument. It demands discipline and deep inner awareness. But each time you succeed, you reclaim your power. You affirm that your emotions aren't for public display. They're sacred. They belong to you, and not everyone deserves access to them. And here's the truth. People remember the ones they couldn't shake, the ones who didn't flinch, the ones who grew in silence. Because nothing confuses someone trying to hurt you more than your unwavering peace. Your stillness becomes your shield, your silence, your defense, and eventually those who try to disturb your soul will understand they never had access to it. Reacting in the heat of pain feels instinctive, it's quick, automatic. Someone insults you and the urge to clap back is immediate. Someone disrespects you and you want to prove your worth right then and there. But reactions born from emotion are rarely wise. They're impulsive, they're raw, and often they lead to regret. When you react without pause, it's not your wisdom speaking, it's your wound. Pain, ego, and anger take control. And those emotions don't care about the aftermath, they care about relief. But that relief is temporary, and the damage can be lasting. A single text sent in anger, a harsh word spoken in frustration, or a rash decision made in pain can create scars that linger far longer than the moment itself. Real strength lies in restraint, in stepping back, in breathing. A response is not a reaction, it's a choice. It's thoughtful, grounded. It arises not from chaos, but clarity. It's what happens when you let the emotional wave rise and fall without dragging you under. That space, that sacred pause, can change everything. Because in that stillness, you reclaim control. You're no longer dancing to someone else's tune. You're no longer reactive. You're intentional. You choose when, how, and even if to respond at all. Sometimes your response is silence, because not every comment deserves your energy. Sometimes it's a graceful exit, walking away before the fire pulls you in. And sometimes it's a calm, measured word spoken in clarity. The kind of response that cuts deeper than any scream ever could. Many think fast reactions show strength, but they often reveal the opposite, that someone else easily pulled your strings. If you can be triggered with just a word, then your emotions are being controlled from the outside, not from within. True power isn't loud, it's calm, it's patient, it's steady. It's the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need to prove a thing because they already know their value. Time is your ally. What feels urgent now often feels trivial with distance. A day later, you'll often look back and wonder why you wanted to fight so hard over something so small. Delaying your reaction isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Let that pause be your filter. Let it separate impulse from insight. Because when your response is rooted in strength, it carries more weight than any impulsive reaction ever could. A pause can save you from regret. It can protect relationships. It can stop you from saying something that you can't take back. Pain is a master teacher. It doesn't arrive to destroy you, but to sculpt you. It chisels away what no longer belongs. How you handle pain reveals who you are. Anyone can smile when life is kind, but your depth, your resilience, your character, it's shown in how you carry yourself when life is not. Think about it. The storms of life are what shape mountains. The same is true for your spirit. When pain comes, it's sharp, it lingers, it disturbs your peace. Sometimes it feels like it wraps itself around your chest and won't let go. It can keep you awake at night, running scenarios in your head. But the pain is not your identity, your response is. If you react with vengeance or collapse under its weight, pain owns you. But if you breathe through it, stand tall and move forward with grace, you transform pain into growth. That's emotional maturity. Pain may visit, but it doesn't get to take up permanent residence in your heart unless you invite it. Life will test you through people. Some will misunderstand you. Others will disrespect you. Some will deliberately hurt you. And sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones you thought never would. These aren't just obstacles, they are reflections. They show you where you still have work to do. If you meet every hurt with the same reaction, anger, outburst, revenge, then your growth is still waiting. But when you meet pain with calm and silence, you've stepped into a new self. You've shown that you're no longer controlled by old patterns, but by new wisdom. Maturity isn't about pretending nothing affects you. It's about not needing to act on every emotion that visits. Feelings will come and go, like weather. Maturity is the umbrella you carry so you don't get drenched in every storm. It's the space between emotion and action. It's realizing that not every storm deserves your presence. Not every jab needs a counter. Sometimes your power is in your quiet dignity. Sometimes it's in walking away without a word. Other times it's in choosing to let the insult pass right through you, knowing it doesn't stick unless you let it. When you master that level of self-awareness, you live differently. You're no longer shaken by every storm. You trust yourself. You know that anger is temporary, but your peace is long-lasting. You no longer seek to prove your worth because you know you are already worthy. And you stop letting pain shape your identity. Instead of saying, I am what happened to me, you begin to say, I am how I rose after it. True maturity is seen not in joy, but in pain, in how you treat yourself and others when you're hurting. Do you lash out, or do you pause, breathe, and respond from clarity? Let pain be your guide, not your ruler. Learn from it, rise with it, but don't let it harden you into bitterness. The challenge is to stay soft without breaking, to stay strong without closing your heart. Every reaction comes at a cost, emotional, mental, physical. Without awareness, you'll spend your energy reacting to things that don't even deserve your breath. Think about it. Not every insult deserves your attention. Not every hurt needs your emotional currency. If you give your power away to every small thing, you'll have nothing left for what truly matters. One of life's most empowering lessons is learning to guard your energy like treasure, because it is. Think of how exhausted you feel after conflict, how your thoughts replay the moment again and again, how your body carries the weight like a stone in your chest. You can't concentrate, you lose sleep, and suddenly one small moment has stolen hours or even days of your peace. Often, it's not the situation itself that drains you, it's your response to it. The ruminating, the emotional echo, the mental spirals, the back and forth conversations you keep having in your head long after the moment has passed. All of it takes your energy and scatters it into places where it doesn't serve you. But when you choose the pause, when you decide to hold your peace, you conserve your strength. You protect your clarity. You direct your energy inward towards growth, purpose, and peace. That pause becomes your shield. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Anyone can react, but it takes discipline to stay still long enough to choose your next move. People project negativity not because of you, but because of their inner chaos. They are wrestling with storms of their own, storms you cannot see. Their words may sound sharp, but those words often come from their pain. When you react, you let their storm inside. You let their darkness touch your light. But when you stay still, you stay sovereign. You guard your space. You preserve your inner light. And over time, people start to sense that light. They recognize they cannot pull you into their drama because you simply won't play. That quiet refusal becomes a boundary without you needing to say a word. This isn't about being numb. It's not about pretending you don't feel pain. It's about being wise. Your emotional bandwidth is sacred. You can't waste it on things that don't nurture your becoming. Every time you walk away from negativity, you're not losing, you're winning. You're saying, my peace matters more than this disruption. And when you do that often enough, you start to notice something beautiful. Your peace grows stronger, your clarity sharper, and your confidence deeper. The more you choose stillness, the stronger you grow. Not everything needs a response. Not every battle is yours to fight. Some conflicts are just traps designed to steal your focus. You become emotionally agile, focused, present, selective. You stop reacting, you start creating your peace, your growth, your life. And that life begins to feel lighter because you no longer carry every insult or disappointment like a backpack of stones. In the end, your energy is holy. Don't waste it trying to be understood by those who don't want to understand. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you no matter what you say. Don't spend it proving anything to anyone. The moment you start explaining yourself to people who don't value you, you've already lost energy that could have been used to grow. Guard it, protect it like you would protect your home. Not everyone deserves entry. And use it to build the life you were meant to live, the life that reflects your worth, your purpose, and your peace. The most powerful response to pain is not revenge, it's elevation. When someone tries to hurt you, they expect your collapse. They expect to see you fall apart, to watch you crumble under the weight of their words or actions. They expect you to break, to react, to lose yourself in anger. But when you take that pain and turn it into progress, you take back the pen, you rewrite the story, you become the author, not the victim. And nothing is more confusing to someone who wanted to see you destroyed than watching you grow stronger instead. Those who try to pull you down watch closely. They search for signs that they still control your emotions. They study your face, your tone, your body language, hoping to catch a reaction. But when you go quiet and focus inward, their hold dissolves. You redirect the energy. While they obsess over your reaction, you work in silence. And that silence becomes your power. Let your peace speak. Let your transformation be the answer. Because nothing confuses someone trying to hurt you more than watching you rise in grace. When your progress speaks louder than your pain, there's nothing left for them to grasp onto. You don't owe explanations for your silence. You don't need to prove your growth. Growth doesn't announce itself with noise. It shows itself in consistency. Just keep evolving. Quietly, steadily, boldly. There's great power in refusing to shrink to someone else's level. You rise above, not because you're ignoring the pain, but because you refuse to let it pull you off course. Each time you grow in silence, you rewrite your story. You show that your power lies not in revenge, but in direction, not in noise, but in movement. It's not about denying the pain, it's about turning it into your foundation. Every wound becomes a stepping stone. Every disappointment becomes a lesson. And with each one, you climb higher. That's how you reclaim your life. That's how you rise From the ashes of someone's hurtful words into the clarity of your own becoming, their attempt to break you becomes the very fuel that builds you. So next time someone tries to hurt you, don't react, don't defend, don't explain. Go quiet, go inward, focus, heal, build. Use the energy that could have been wasted on arguments to water your own growth instead, because nothing silences chaos more than progress, and no revenge is louder, no payback is sweeter than becoming everything they said you couldn't be. And when you finally stand tall in that truth, you'll see that their words never had the power, they only had the noise.